just know that if you, anything that you see online that is just breathtaking or beautiful, just know that there is work behind that and there is sacrifice. And if you don't put forth the work, then you aren't going to get the result. So this week we are going to tackle the berry patch, and I don't mean a little patch. I mean a 80-foot by 50-foot berry patch, which is one of our big plans in small spaces. And so I have this problem where I dream big and I don't always realize the work that it will take. I would call it a good and a bad thing. So I try to keep myself in check on these things, but I was not willing to compromise on the size of our berry patch. Last week we had trouble trying to get the rows ready. The ground is rock hard, you guys. Like, it is so hard I can't even get my shovel into it. We tried a few things to loosen up that topsoil, but it wasn't really working, and we took a little break to make a new plan. I really needed the ground to be somewhat loose enough to actually get a plant in the ground. I plan on mixing some compost in with the soil, but I really just needed a few inches of topsoil to mix that in with. Our soil health is so bad that we decided that tilling couldn't make it any worse, and that is what we decided to do. After tilling, we got a few good inches to be able to rake into rows. I was creating 9 40 to 50 foot beds, and the rake was taking forever. Then my genius husband Nate came up with the idea to use snow shovels. And as hilarious as this is, it worked really well. So the same friend we have who let us borrow his tiller, he's also bringing me about 7 blackberry plants. We still have a lot of work to do so that we can plant those. So we're gonna try to get that blackberry row done first because he's bringing those plants today. We have this whole space. I don't even know how big it is, from here all the way to like the front of our property for berries.
I guess it looks like 3 feet, maybe. Oh, there he is. Blackberries are here.
Okay. So after you plant this,
Do you trellis your blueberries?
oh yeah,
Or your blackberries?
blackberries, yeah, they're all trellised, yeah.
Okay. We have about 7 berry plants. He said there's 3 varieties, I think. He said he wasn't sure what they were called, but he said big ones, medium ones, and a small one. So as far as like how big the fruit is. So we are gonna get these in the ground, just prep this row and get going. I'm also planting the 2 grape plants up front, and it's starting to rain again. This is a lot easier to shovel. So I had the grape plants, some of them were soaking, so I did need to get those in the ground soon. And after receiving the blackberry plants, I decided to wait until the morning to plant those because I was really on a roll and I really wanted to get more of these garden rows raked into place. I just finished shoveling all of the rows for the berries, so that was just organizing the rows. I still need to put compost in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows tomorrow. I'll probably do a row or 2 a day. That'll probably be my goal between watering. Just know that if you, anything that you see online that is just breathtaking or beautiful, just know that there is work behind that and there is sacrifice. And if you don't put forth the work, then you aren't going to get the results. And for me, I don't like to call it work because I love it and I thoroughly enjoy being out here. I really actually like physical labor. I like being outside. If I didn't like this, there is no way I would still be out here right now. All right, you guys, it is time to get these blackberry plants in the ground. So I've actually never planted blackberries before. This is something new for me. I've done strawberries, I've done blueberries, and I've done raspberries. And I know blackberries can probably be a little similar to raspberries. People have warned me that they do spread and can become aggressive, so we will be pretty proactive in the pruning phases during the spring to make sure that these don't completely just take over this area. This is also the reason why I've put the blackberries at the end of the berry patch so they have a lot of space to be able to grow and expand, because I was told by the man who gave these to me that they can get up to 12 feet high. These vines can grow super long. So we're going to prepare ourselves for that. Another project that we will have in the works for our berry patch is that we will need to trellis the blackberries and raspberries. We're still trying to decide the way we want to do that, whether we just want to rig up something with T-posts this year. I have this dream in my mind of to use wood in order to trellis these with wire. I just think that would look so much prettier, but we'll just see what we've got in us. Here are the beautiful plants. My kids really love helping in the watering process and have a good time. Because we don't have irrigation and we have one hose, I think we have like 200 feet of hose. I have to lug it all over our yard to water. And one of the projects today is to water all of our trees. So what I do is I let them on a slow drip, set the timer between 20 to 40 minutes, and let that drip and let it soak each tree. This is something my mom said to do with trees in the first year of planting them because they really need to establish those deep roots. So now for the rest of today's projects, I am going back and forth from adding compost to the berry rows and watering the trees.
Yesterday there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes,
We have been doing so many shoveling and wheelbarrowing projects over the past few days, and I really feel like my muscles are taking to that really well, and I'm getting a little bit stronger, which is really good because I have to do this for about 7 more rows.
restoring everything within. Oh, dreamy, breezy.
Last compost dump for that row, and timer's going off to move the trees.
Agents of the other, beyond gravel, beyond all. Hand in hand, building castles out of sand, reaching for the
It's gonna be like Christmas Day when we get irrigation to all of the trees and plants. I'm gonna be so happy. Just a quick rake job of this row and it's ready for planting. All right, we have the row raked out. We are ready to plant these strawberries. Some of them are bearing fruit here, but so I don't, it's probably a little late on the planting game for these, but we're doing our best. These strawberries have been with us since last October. We got them for free from a local farm. They were taking out their strawberry row and giving away free plants. So I snagged a bunch, put them in pots, and was hoping to keep them alive till we could plant them, and we are able to plant them. We'll probably put these ones, I don't know if they'll all fit in one row. There's a bunch of plants in each pot. But I also ordered some other strawberry plants. So we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of strawberries. As I was planting these strawberry plants, I kept going back to when we first got them from the local farm and we were still living in our rental. I was trying to save them and keep them alive, and I was just dreaming of the day of when I was actually going to plant them in our yard. And today is that day, and it's been really fun. It was kind of one of those things that kept me going while living in the rental where we just had rock for yard, and so it brought me joy to come out and see these strawberry plants, and it's fun to be able to get them in the ground. I've just been and try to kind of shovel them out with my hand. My son was a big part of this strawberry planting. He actually probably planted 90% of these strawberries, so that has been fun. It'll be fun to tell him that he was responsible for this entire row of strawberries. We did it! One 40-foot bed of strawberries done, and another 40-foot bed of blackberries. There's a space at the end of the blackberries. I'm getting 2 more plants at that end to fill in, and then more plants to come. Just can't forget to water these. Speaking of watering, my timer is going off and time to move those plants again on our fruit trees. Head over to the fruit trees. Let's go eat. How are you, Plum? These tips of these trees are starting to turn red and look a little ragged. I hope this guy makes it. This is one of our plums. I think this is Gage. Yep. Hopefully Gage makes it. As we were planting our strawberries, I noticed that there was a sale on strawberries at the grocery store, and I decided to stock up since we don't have our strawberries growing quite yet. But I also wanted to find more ways to preserve the strawberries that I knew would be coming in future years. Obviously, you can make delicious jams and jellies, but I wanted to see if we could preserve strawberries in a snack form that my kids would like. So we're testing out dehydrating strawberries right now. I know my kids love freeze drying strawberries, and we don't have a freeze dryer currently. That is definitely something that I would love to save up for in the future. But for now, we do have this really great dehydrator. And so I'm going to dehydrate these strawberries and see if this is a snack my kids enjoy eating, so that I know that it can be an option for preserving the strawberries in the future. This tree, when it overflows like that, it means that it was probably done. All right, let's bring it over here. Gotta be mindful not to smash another tree while I'm doing this. And I just do this just a quick wet down and then do the trickle. The house over there is being built, and all their garbage and rubble is just blowing over into our yard. After about 8 hours, these strawberries are done dehydrating, and they look beautiful. They did stick to the wire rack a bit when I was trying to remove them and place them into the jar, and I found that the easiest way to get them off was just by poking them from the back side into the jars. After they were all in, I like to slip an anti-moisture packet into my dehydrated foods, and these are ready for snacking. I have more strawberries than what I could fit in this bed. So this bed is all from our neighbor. This is from the farm, local farm. The blackberries are from another neighbor. And then I have more strawberries, so maybe I'll start filling this bed. I have 1, 2, 3 more beds of strawberries. Maybe. That's what I have space for. I don't know if that's what I'm gonna put in all these beds. Okay, thanks.
This wall used to be so high. Why did you smash it?
Ugh. So what I do is I just barely let the water trickle, and then maybe that one needs to be built up more still.
So it is 10:45 p.m. Today's Saturday. We've been working in the yard all day. We've been clearing weeds, and then in the mail today came some more raspberries, blackberries, and other things. We got home kind of late from a party, neighborhood activity, but she wants to get them in the ground because they just came in the mail, and so I'm about to go out there and help her. Yeah, I think we should start a late night gardening show because of how much gardening we seem to do in the dark, late at night, after the kids are in bed. There she is. Excuse me, ma'am. Can I ask what you're doing out here at 11 o'clock at night in my yard?
I'm planting brooms.
Brooms, huh?
Yeah. That's what a bare root plant looks like. Broomstick.
What kind of bare root plant is that?
Raspberry.
Raspberry.
We
Okay.
have 5 varieties of raspberries. We're gonna have so many raspberries. She'll be good because that means I will get to actually eat some, because before I think I planted like 12 plants and our kids ate every single one, which I want them to be able to get to taste them. But if I plant like 50 plants, then I will get some too.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
I wouldn't
No
put it past the
guarantees.
kids to still eat all of them.
Yeah. Like fill each little bowl that I have created. This ground is so hard. Trickle just like lightly and like fill the little dish.
Okay.
Nate's over there getting compost. We're gonna put some in our last 2 strawberry beds, and then we'll get planting those today. First, I wanted to show you what the raspberries and blackberries look like. You guys saw me planting those in the dark, and right now they still look like sticks, but we have been seeing some buds forming, so hopefully they take. The strawberries are the first priority because they're plants that I ordered and they're still bare root plants, so I moistened their roots a little bit and I've been putting them in our cool garage, but they do need to get planted today. So let's take a tour of the berry patch. So at the very front of our patch, we have 2 50-foot rows of red raspberries. This row of raspberries is golden raspberries. Here's our blueberry buckets. We'll see if we can keep these alive. People said here where we live, what we have in our water, I think they said calcium or something, actually kills the blueberry plants. It just makes the soil so alkaline. So we'll see if we can prevent that. Then we have the blackberries that we planted. Those ones had their leaves. These are a primocane blackberry, so you can get fruit the first year, so we'll see what that happens. And then we have these 2. These are the 2 strawberry beds we're gonna be doing today. We have 2 more strawberry beds, and then another row of blackberries from a neighbor friend. So let's go get some compost on those rows and create strawberries. as well found a treasure.
Mom found one.
Our first strawberry. Getting the final berry patch beds prepped and planted was so satisfying. Knowing that all this work would provide us with a bounteous harvest in years to come was what kept us motivated. All right, the whole berry patch is planted. Soon this will be green and lush.
Mommy,
Right now, it looks a little
one.
dead. Now I've got to go drag the hose all the way back over here. It's the best time, let me tell you. We've come a long way getting all these berries planted. So now when people say, "You're so lucky to have all these berries," because I know they will, I'm going to say luck has nothing to do with it. This berry patch was put together by pure grit and determination.